Good afternoon, sir.
Yeah, good afternoon. Yeah, welcome.
Thank you. Can you tell us your name and maybe a little bit about yourself?
Okay. My name is Okoye Jonah Okodere.
Okay.
A native of Enugu. So I'm in Enugu State, and I into unmanned husbandry. But currently, I focus more on fishing, on section of archery setup, mainly for now. Though I've been in this field since 2007. I was under apprentice.
Okay.
With my boss for since 2007 to 2014 when I started my own.
Okay, so the apprentice, you actually learned this business?
Yeah,
wow.
I was on apprentice for since then till 2012. That is when I started on my own.
Okay.
So, wanting to start, I never know that the capital involvement was so large, because what we thought was all about poultry, fishery,
okay,
and veterinary aspect of it all. I practice, we practice milling. Like we can produce any type of fowl food,
okay,
from starter to finisher.
Okay.
And even at point of lay, and as for feed, fish food as well. So we produce all type of fish food, start from starter to from 2 mm, from 2 mm to broodstock stage. But currently now, when I leave, the huge capital that is involved have limited me to only hatchery.
Okay.
Hatchery, because the capital involved is a bit low.
It's capital intensive.
Yeah. So I started with the hatchery. That's what you see me doing here.
Okay.
So meanwhile, we are also exposed to more and latest technology, so to know how to perform better in the field, because my target is not just about producing what I can eat. I want to go commercial in a very large form. So that's the essence of what I'm doing. Thank you.
Okay, so you like this fishery that you are into now.
Yeah.
I'm sure we have different sizes of this kind of fish. Can you tell us some of the sizes we have in this particular area?
Let me start with the species. There are diverse species of fish.
Okay.
But currently we choose a catfish. We are dealing with catfish. And in catfish, we have so many breeds.
Okay.
But Nigeria now, I think the common one is banquet. Okay. Then Clara and Dutch.
Okay.
So we have crossbreed of Dutch and Clara, which is the hybrid that I'm dealing with. It grow faster than every other one. Okay. So that's what we do. So we crossbreed Dutch and banquet.
Wow.
Sometimes it depends on what customer wants.
Okay.
But the most strong one that is very resistant to disease mainly is Etro and Clara. Etro Clara. So when you combine the two, it's more strong than that of Dutch. Yeah, but for me, if like you want a quick growth, it's Dutch, because Dutch meet up within 3 to 4 months. They are got to stable size. But that Etro Clara, at least from 5 to 6 months. But the size is always very big. They are very big and lengthy.
Okay,
more than
bigger
that of
than
Dutch.
the Dutch.
Yeah.
Okay. So like for the Nigerian market now, which one do customers always go for?
People are trying new things, but the major one now is this crossbreed of Etro and Clara.
Okay.
So which is hybrid.
Okay.
So it's what people buy most now.
Okay.
So that's what we are producing. But if you have any demand to produce the other ones, we are always willing to do what customer wants, provided it's not involve any form of artificial form. Because as you can see, we don't have much equipment here to practice everything under sun. So everything here is practice it under sun.
Okay. Okay, sir.
So this is our parent stock. As you can see, these are crossbreed of Ethro and Clara. So we have them here. Some of them, some are up to 4 kilo, 5 kilo. The biggest here is about 6 kilo. So you have even about 1 point something and 2 point something, depend on what customer want. From here, because we want to be sure of the breed, so we retain our home parent stock. From here we pick our parent and the hash. So you can see currently now I want to do renovation. That's why you can see some of my ponds are loose, and I've gotten a tarpaulin to construct more hatchery ponds.
Okay, like this is where you get the
parent stock
from.
Yeah, okay. From this one they are called brood stock.
Brood stock.
There are females and there are males here.
Okay.
So we collect the female. That's why we use the, as I tell you, we don't use chemical to inject. So there's what we call a pituitary gland.
Okay.
Yeah, there's something that inside the brain of the fish. This catfish has a brain.
Okay.
And there's something that is called a pituitary gland inside. So we remove it. We remove that pituitary gland. That's how we process it to inject the female. So it acts as an scripting hormone. It will wrap in the egg. You know, egg inside the fish belly is in block form. When we inject that pituitary, the belly will become butty, the egg will become independent. So when it's coming out in liquid and independent. Okay. So it's ready for spawning. So
it actually hatches the egg inside the water, or do you?
No. We bring it out. Even egg as they are, the egg there's always a maturity stage. Okay. They may be mature, but when the egg are ready, if you are not ready to use them, they will release it out. And when they release that, they by themselves will eat it up. Wow. They don't hatch by themselves. They do probably what they call booting. Okay. If the male continue booting the female, it will release the egg that is ready. That's why time to time we check anyone that's ready to bring it out and inject. Okay. Then you make use of it.
So how do you know the ones that are ready?
It's from experience. From the egg. Once I check the egg, I know when it is ready.
Okay. So how do you know a female that is ready now?
As I said, if I want to check, I drain my water. Once I drain my water, I will check them. Even mainly looking from the tummy. Anyone that I know that is overloaded, I check it. If it is ready, I use. I have to inject.
Okay. Can you show us the difference between the male and the female catfish?
From the genital. Okay. Their genital is different. Okay. That one of a female is very short and wide. Okay. The male horn is long and very narrow. Even from their shape, I can even point a male for you right from inside now. So male are normally lengthy and tiny. They don't grow butty belly. Okay, they are long. They are length. Yeah. Like this one you see going. That is male. That is male. So. And I'm assuring you that this very butty one is a female.
Wow. Okay, so from here now, from the parent stock now, so where next?
Brood stock. So we go to our hatchery ground. So we trying to construct more, but currently now this is one I just did. What I do, I hatch on every 2 weeks. Every 2 weeks I hatch. This one now is 2 weeks. I mean, a week and about 4 days old. Okay. So there are many here. Jojo, come and open the pond. Dimu dada. Alright. So at least you have some reasonable quantity here. Wow. So this is from a parent.
Okay. Wow. Now all this you got them from the parent and stock?
Yes, yeah, just the fish that produce this.
Wow.
Just a male and a female.
Now, like, just give me a rough estimate. Like, how many do you think we have here?
I think within, not within 70,000.
Wow, 70,000 here. Yeah. Wow. Okay. So the feed you give to, is it the same thing you give to the parent stock?
No, no.
Okay.
Their feed is, as I told you, we based on natural stuff. So now when we hatch, we use there's a natural food for them we get from the clean gutters. So that's where we even culture it. This is called Daphnia.
Okay.
Daphnia. So it's alive. So when you collect it, they are alive. So we wash it and disinfect it and put for them. So this is another batch.
Okay. Now these ones are actually smaller than
this one. About 5 days old.
5 days.
Yeah.
Wow. They are really tiny. You can hardly even see them.
You can hardly see them now.
Wow. Okay, this is about 5 days old.
Yes.
Okay. Wow. Okay.
She found the lay.
Now, currently, like, how many staff works with you here, or do you do all this alone?
In that Greek, you can't work alone. You can't work and never work alone.
Wow.
So I have 3 people working with me.
Okay.
So one is on IT.
Okay.
So the other one is on contract, and this one is on salary.
Okay.
That's why he always with me.
Okay.
So the one working on the one on contract is, I've trained him. I give him everything he wants to do. So we established a small farm for him. So he produces and so these are 4-week old. 4-week old, and they are now fingerlings. So
okay, these ones are the ones they call fingerlings.
yes, they are 4-week old now.
Okay. Wow. Okay. Now, after the fingerlings, what is the next
stage?
Yes.
Next stage is we have post.
Okay.
Post fingerlings.
Okay.
So from post fingerling to juvenile. So from juvenile we get to jumbo.
Wow.
So the jumbos are almost table size, but they're not really table size. So from there, the people normally we sell fingerlings due to our limited space here. Okay. So that the breeders, those who breed and breed to table size, so they buy and continue from there. So based on fingerling production now, and with very little grow out. So this one I'm constructing now is for grow out, and this one as well. I want to use them for grow out.
Wow. Okay. Now, like
same
these
size.
fingerlings, how long? How old are they?
They are 4 weeks now.
Okay, 4 weeks. That's roughly a month.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, okay. Like, how often do you feed these ones, the fingerlings?
Now they eat 3 times a day for now.
3 times a day. Okay. Until they get to the next stage. Okay.
If they leave, we sell them. We feed 3 times. It's from at least from where or after sorting as a table side, they start feeding twice. Okay. Now they need more food so that they can be able to meet their targeted
sizes.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. So, like, how much do you sell a fingerling? Or how do you sell them?
Fingerlings goes for 12 naira
per one.
Yeah, we were selling 10 naira before, but currently now, due to scarcities of raw material to produce the feed, so feed producers, which I am lamenting for, because it's my feed. I know how to produce, I don't have the machine to. So yeah. So and those materials have really gone up, like soya beans, flour, GNC, SBM, and the micronutrients, so they have all gone up. So that's why the feed have
the cost
of the feed have increased. So we added the 2 naira to it. So that's why we are selling 12 naira now.
Okay.
If not before now, it is 10 naira.
Wow. Then for the adults, do you sell adults too?
The
parent stock, or you just use them mainly for reproduction?
My parent stock, I know their history, so I keep them for myself.
Okay.
So I retain them. Okay. I don't say them, though they are much, but I prefer, because I really want to go in a very big ashering stuff. So at a point that we can be using up to 30 brood stock per week. Wow. So you can see you can never be enough.
So like how many brood stock do you have, the parent stock? Like how many do you have in your pond?
Currently now, those ones you are seeing there, they are just 310 pieces.
Wow.
310.
310. And for how long will you be able to keep them before probably you replace them?
You know, this one, like another species now, I've selected some now that are coming up, that I still want to add to them. Okay. The stage of juvenile. So what I do is that I add to them. So but where fish, if they are old enough, like from these ones now, before a parent stock, a brood stock can be ready, if from a year plus, it at least must be up to a year
before it can start
ready for fertilization.
Wow. Then let's say after the 1 year, so how do you know a weak adults that will not be able to fertilize again, because I'm sure most animals have their lifespan?
Yeah.
So like how long does that take? Once
you use the brood stock, you see that it's not, no matter how you feed it, does not load again. Even if you want to load, the belly will start shrinking. Okay. The normal size they normally load no longer it. And sometimes when you even ash itself, the fryers, the fryers are the old. So after getting to a point of where they're supposed to be eating, when you give them food, they will not eat it. It means that the parent stock has a problem.
Okay, hold on. You mean like the fryers, which is the day old now, when you try to feed them and they refuse to?
They started eating from 4 days. We started feeding from the 4th day. Okay. When they started, because the one man when they came out with a yolk inside their tummy. Okay. So they feed with that yolk for complete 3 days. Okay. So before they are ready for external food.
Wow. Okay. Wow. Okay, so when you have a weak parent, I'm sure you sell them off.
No, we don't sell them. I eat what I do. So I consider I eat them or I dash it out. Wow. Because there's no amount you want to sell a brood stock that will be enough. But the brood stock goes for 2,500 per kilo. Okay. Why normal you grow at table size? We normally say table size. The biggest size from 1 kilo and above is sold for at the rate of 750, 800. Due to scarcity of it. If not, they are even the time they were selling 700. So currently it's 800. You can see that the price is not, because you cannot dash out brood stock to have a value of it unless somebody sell it. So I prefer dashing it out. Okay.
So like the feeding, let's talk about the feeding. Now what do you normally use for their feeding, the raw materials?
The raw materials are, they are categorized into 2. Okay. You have a plant and animal. So catfish feed mainly on protein. Okay. So we have animal protein and plant protein. So the animal protein majorly is fish. There's what we call fish meal. The fish meal is a major component of feed, which has almost over, the cost of fish meal sometimes is even higher than fish itself. Wow. So the fish meal is very, very expensive. So we are looking for every other means of boycotting it. And I've gone on training on how to produce a maggot, because it is also an animal protein. Okay. Maggot, but there's a little quantity that can be added, about 10%. Okay. So we have a fish meal as a animal protein. So sometimes some people use a blood meal, but I don't use it due to the pollution. It pollutes water easily. And here I'm running on on fuel alone, and you're running on gen, so I don't use light.
Okay.
So I avoid it. So we have fish meal, we have plant proteins like soya beans, granite cake, and so many others. So we have cassava flour, we have a wheat flour, then some fiber. Fibers are like wheat offer or corn offer, but in a very small, very light form, very light form. So these are the major foundation. Then your macronutrients like lysine, vitamin C, zinc, but we are trying to boycott that. So without those one now, so now I use a moringa, bitter leaf, moringa leaf, bitter leaf, and you don't go here, but how to process it.
Okay, do you do the processing yourself?
Yeah,
or?
yeah.
Okay, wow.
There are leaves that work perfectly for catfish.
Okay.
Yeah, there are leaves, yeah.
Okay, so let's say somebody that wants to learn this kind of business, like what is the duration? For how long will the person be able to learn it?
I have trained, in fact, I may say up to 15 people now.
Wow, since you started 3 years ago.
All of them, they're on their own.
Wow.
It depends on somebody who is willing, the person willingness to learn. If you are willing, I see how many years it took me. But if you want to, it is all about just catfish alone. Catfish alone. Within a year you are done. The year I'm saying that you have learned and practicalized with me, because I don't just train and leave you. You learn, you train, and then you give you some chance for us to see error, to see the level you have gone, so that if you are on your own, there are errors that you that have to go through all of that again. At least I've gotten the basis that you can function on your own.
Wow. Okay. Now, what is the let's say for somebody that actually wants to learn this trade, what is the cost of training?
Like I said, mainly those people I train, most of them are IT students. So ITs are always crying, you don't have money, you don't have money. So they will expect you to give them something where they are going. So I train to me, like you want to get a train. So I collect a 250.
250,000.
So to take you around all the costs.
Okay, and when you talk about IT students, you're referring to those that actually went to high institutions to study farming.
Yes. So after that, well, they want to practicalize.
Okay. So can you tell us what you are doing right now?
This picture you see I'm in now, we are trying to to abide by the privilege and opportunity we get through training. Because we come to realize from the training we are told that to be successful in our business as well, we have to put the environment into consideration.
Okay.
So from it I learned that what we are considering as a waste, they are not actually waste. So you can convert them. So the pits I dug is one of the things they taught us that we can in discharging our water. Although we are not into, I am not into grow out right now.
Okay.
So the feed is very wide. In fishing, I'm into fishing.
Okay.
So the feed is very wide. So I learned a whole lot, anything that has to do with both fish and poultry. Okay. But right now I just started with hatchery aspect of a fish.
Okay.
So here is my number one chamber. So I gather my water first. When water is coming to enter this chamber.
Okay.
So when it enter, the water will filter down. Then we leave the ammonias around.
Okay.
So the ammonia will be sealed on the surface. Then what I will do is that when I come in the morning, I collect the ammonia. So with the experience I get, to keep the ammonia somewhere, add a small soil, loamy soil to it. For me to become a very fertile fertilizer, organic, without manure. So we are trying to see what we can do without fertilizer, without NPKC, so without any form of, like what I'm practicing here now. I don't use any one chemical in producing my fish.
Wow, everything
is natural.
So and you get the feed mostly from the water, the wastewater. So you now renew it into the feed you now use for your fish.
No, like this manure I'm talking about. When I gather the manure, I sell it to people who are into crop, like vegetables and co.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I could have liked to use it for plantain, but the water that is going to plantain alone is enough for it to give me what I want. So that is another a bonus to me in the farm that I just discovered, which I've been wasting for a very long time.
Wow. Okay. So from what you just explained, now this water you gather, you end up turning it into manure that you now sell to people that are into crop farming.
Yeah.
Wow. Wow.
It's very, very, very highly proteinous, highly fertilized. Because what any plant that it touch, especially like ugu and the rest of vegetables. Yeah, the color is very different from every other manure. Wow,
that's good. So like, how do you sell this wastewater that you now turn into natural manure or fertilizer? How do you sell them in kegs or in different sizes?
The manure is sold per bag. Once I gather this, once it's up to a bag, I know who to call. Because they even prefer the organic manure than every other one.
Fertilizer.
Yeah, every other fertilizer. So we are trying to see if you can do without the help of all the other things we are getting from every other country. We want to be independent.
Wow,
that's why we are doing this. Don't want to depend on anybody henceforth. So even our feed here now, the feed I'm using in my farm, I base mainly on locally made feed. We don't patronize imported feed anymore. So.
Okay, sir, I'm sure you've been doing this for a very long time, and from your experience you must have been facing some challenges. Can you share with us some of your challenges so far?
The major challenge have been our instabilities of cost price.
Okay.
Instabilities of cost price, you know. When I was learning, there are things that we were buying at the rate of let's say 2,000. Now some of them are more than 10,000 now.
Wow.
So but on my own, since I left, as I told you, the feed is very wide. So Namongo, which is the most lucrative, which is the milling, that have landed me into the business. Now I don't have facilities because the machine alone is in millions of naira. So that has been the major finance, have been the major problem. Like this place I am now is I'm on rent.
Okay.
So I'm on rent, so we pay rent, and this Lagos State rent is not just small money. You pay huge amounts of money.
It requires a lot of space.
So as well, the cost that involved with some other visibilities, the finance has been the major problem that we have, and you know, some government policies that will affect us most time. Yeah, like when they buy some products from entering, so our own here is supposed to be very cheap, but all of them, our home material also went up, so it's very, very scarce. I know they are doing the best, but right now it's still not hard. It's taking so much from us, from me personally.
Wow.
Like the cost of I know sometimes I burn more than 2,000 fuel here per day.
Wow.
So,
and by the time you consider all this, definitely you include it to your cost of production.
You can't just sometimes we just take it low because we push everything to the cost. The customer will run away.
It's true.
So that's why we still try to manage to cope.
Okay.
So agric is a very lucrative sector, but the biggest challenge is finance and training.
So do you undergo training from time to time?
Time to time. You have to be updated.
Wow.
You have to be. There are seminars we attend most times, and seminars. Some of the seminars they don't take less than sometimes, except it is a government organized one. So if it is personal training, sometimes they collect 5,000, sometimes 6,000. Several plus the time. If not that I have people who have trained on ground here, sometimes it took you a whole day before you come back due to Lagos State traffic and other. So
okay, so like for somebody that wants to venture into this kind of business, what do you think is the minimum amount he or she can start with?
If you are like you want to start a commercial firm,
okay,
at least you should be looking at from 10,000 pieces. So if we are talking up to that, plus or minus, you must have up to 3 to 4 million naira account, and you're on ground. Apart from the borehole, and borehole depends on your area.
It's true.
So the cost is to agric is, let me say, it's not a poor man business at all. It's very, in fact, it's not easy to get.
Wow.
So you must work. So you must work hard, even with your money. You are getting the, I may tell you now, bring 4 million naira, come and start. That is not just the challenge. With your 4 million naira, you have to undergo training and you must work. Because if you don't work, when you train somebody and leave him, they most time they mess up.
It's true.
So you must work.
Okay. Okay. Now, I'm sure there are other people that does this kind of business also. What makes your own different? What is the unique thing about? So, what is the unique thing about your own kind of business?
If you ask, as of John, even to Barak, to all this area, I'm known for majorly fingerling production. So then time to time I have fish on ground. Okay. And my major different, I practice serious hygiene.
Wow.
Serious, a very hygiene. My fish is always, I undergo serious hygiene. And time to time I go for training as well to update myself on the, because right now there is always climate change, and this climate change of things is affecting fish seriously. Like if you don't understand the fish, sometimes when things are started happening in the farm, you thought it's a witchcraft or somebody is a poison. But when you look down, you see that things are changing, and if things are changing, you don't change with it. You definitely will stay behind. Know what is happening.
Okay, so that's then always update yourself.
Okay. To go along with. So
okay, can you share some of your worst experience with us you've had in this field?
It has been this rent of a thing. Like in some cases, when I am, like I told you before, I was in the barrack where I was working. So as it comes to the time, they were chasing off non-military of very big. I was into grow out as well.
Okay.
Relocating, what I have is a wooden pond. But after losing everything, it become a firewood. So the farm is, before I got another place to rent, around the place, after establishing everything, like after 3 years, the man says we want to use this land. So I don't have option. So that's why I'm really trying to see how to overcome this, at least to be on my homeland. Worst experience so far.
That's the
because
rent.
When somebody say leave, you must leave. So you don't have option.
It's true. So have you encountered any accidents with your fish, probably losing some fish to either diseases or the climate? Can you share some of that experience with us?
Like last year, even this year August.
Okay.
August. So you know that I myself have known that in July, August here, our water have gone AY. So the water have polluted. When rain falls, when the rain is high and there's flood everywhere, the pH of borehole will change. And once the pH change, and even the salinity, the saltness, and every other properties will change. And once you give it to fish, we started seeing reaction. It killed thousands of fish this year. After that, when we are coming to August, we have what we have like almost an harmattan. So that cold, that period does not allow fish to eat. So, but if you are aware of what is happening, then you know what to do. Like formerly, it have happened to me severally when I have not really adjusted. So leaving my farm for my boy. There's a time anybody in the fish farm, you must be ready. One of the highest risks to venture it. So sometimes I have my fish back. No, he added because by then we are using soda ash to boost the pH of our water.
Okay.
We added too much. The fish that somebody was waiting to carry. Not that we just lose one, we lose 2 ponds.
Wow.
Everything gone. It was a disaster. But you must take it as one of those things. The boy, he was an IT. He learned from it. And I believe such a mistake again. So
okay, so like you mentioned one problem you usually encounter, which is the cold.
Yeah.
So how do you solve that kind of problem?
You have to regulate your water constantly.
And how do you do that, sir?
Your water temperature. So you said that you continue that period. You must continue running with your water, or you shade it. You shade your this thing now, or if you have access to heat, at least when they have heat bulb around, the water will be a bit warm. But me, I run flow through. So the flow through will keep the water temperature constant. So the fresh water is coming in, and the old one is going out. So to regulate the water, the fish will stay balanced.
Okay.
So that control it a bit, and just not 100%.
Okay. So why did you choose this kind of business instead of another kind of business? Why this fish farming?
I mean, you see, fish is very, 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 very wide, and it gives me a whole lot of opportunity. Like if I am financial buoyant, I must say, in every other business has a profit margin. So every other business has a profit margin, but in fish, in agro business, the more you work, the higher your profit. So you sometimes 20,000 for example, you can decide to give you $1 million. Nobody will question you. You are dealing with nature. So that is just the beauty of it. So, and I like being an entrepreneur. So I'm not seeing any field that can accumulate what I have in mind. So I am planning that in the next 2-3 years, I want my own farm at least. Let me have nothing less than at least 20 people.
Wow, and that's
working with me.
Question I want to ask you. Okay, let's say in the next 5 years, where do you hope to see your business?
I want to fully explore what I have. Also, like this is one of the, let's say, the minor aspects. I want to go into milling.
Wow,
that's where
milling
expand, yes, feed, fowl feed as well, and fish feed. So as well as poultry. So egg is very, very, very scarce now. So I want to really go into poultry and combine it, because the poultry and my fish stuff, they go together. So and this is plantation.
Okay.
So they
you
go
actually
together.
Have a plantain. You have a plantation also.
Yeah. And grow it into mega farm. So that's what I'm targeting. But once I am into milling, never other thing will fall in, because milling is highly profitable. And with milling, you can stock up to 20,000 fish, because you produce the feed by yourself. So the cost is very low. So with the backup from hatchery, you don't have problem, because you are neither buying anything. So like you are complete. So.
Okay, so do you have any advice for anybody that wants to venture into this kind of business?
My advice is please don't rush in. No matter how careful you think you are, don't just carry your money and land inside. Try to get train and practice in a very, very small scale. for you to know your lapses before you venture it, because agric is very lucrative. Be able to survive from it because it's life. So it's very full of demand. Like this fish, they communicate.
Wow.
They communicate a lot. When they have problem, they are showing the signs. So you have to be trained to know what they are saying, to know what it takes before you venture inside. Agric is one of the best sector now to invest in. Like during coronavirus, everybody was crying. I was here enjoying myself. People called to me to buy fish from working.
It's true.
I was taking my fish to wherever I'm going. So agric has less stress and much respect. Unlike if the way our forefathers were doing it. Agric command a whole lot of at least in Boston before. If you tell somebody I'm a farmer, they will start laughing you, especially in the midst of all of us that we school together. They say you're a farmer, they will laugh you. But now, currently some of them started calling me that they want to go into farming. I was like, you want to become farmer? So agric now have been at least it has a little respect now, unlike before. So I've asked anybody, if you want to come in, please try to gather a whole lot of knowledge, not just from seminar, but on a practical ground, so that at least you know what it entails. Thank you.
Okay, now do you have any other final words for the black community generally? The black people all over the world doing any kind of business, advice, anything? Yeah,
like I tell my friends, whenever we gather, they spend, I myself, I have my own little ways to spend. Don't look at what the other person is doing, just discover yourself. Discover yourself and stick to it. And stay free, like what is happening globally now. Yahoo, fraud doing. I've been duped several times, I swear. But I swear I will not dupe anybody. So stay free from all kind of fraud that will land you. Because it will just go, we thought it had gone. It is coming back. So whatever a man sow, you definitely reap. Yes. So stay trouble free. And if anybody feel intimidated, God is our avenger. So avenger does not take us anywhere. So stay violence free. Thank you.
Right. Thank you very much, sir. Okay. Mr. Jonah, we want to thank you for giving us the opportunity to be with you and also share your experience with us.
Thank you very much. I should be thanking you because I know this is an advert. It's one of the key things that we need. Thank you, Black Speak, for taking your time to come at least to our this low level that we are. You decided to bring yourself down to this level. I appreciate it, and I would like to see more of your presence.
You're welcome.
So the word is ours. So by God's grace, we definitely dominate. Thank you so much.
All right. Thank you, sir, and have a wonderful day.
And you too.
Bye-bye. you.